All right, we'll get started. So good morning and thank you for being here for our online virtual info session for our Master of Business Administration program. Just a reminder that the session will be recorded and sent to you afterwards so you can go over it. And then at the end of the session, I'll go over any of my contact information so that questions can be directed toward me as well. So let's get started. 1 second. All right, let's go over the agenda. So we'll first go over everything we're going to be going through. We'll do introductions, a history of the program, and a little bit about the university. Asking the question, why pursue an MBA? We'll go through program learning goals, curriculum, like our optional concentrations, course waivers, discuss our admissions criteria and what next steps would be, and do a question and answer session with the Goodwin College of Business Dean, Dr. Daryl Radson. Talk about international applicants, financing your venue education, what it means when we say becoming an Eagle, and the contact information at the end under stay in contact. So just to give you a brief introduction, that's myself on the screen. I'm Jenny Jeske, the admission counselor for graduate business programs here at Benedictine. And on the call today, we have Dr. Daryl Radson, the Dean of the Daniel L. Goodwin College of Business. Dr. Radson has been with us since 2019. And prior to joining Benedictine, he was the Dean for the College of Business at Bradley University and Michigan Technological University. He holds an MA and PhD from the University of Michigan. So thanks for being with us today, Dr. Radson.
Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for being here.
Oh, also I should mention, later on the call, we should be hearing from Matthew Johnson, the Director of the Office of Career and Personal Development, to hear what he has to say about what his office could offer our graduate students here at the university. So starting off, let's talk a little bit about the history of the program. And with that, we'll start at the first level with the university. So Benedictine is a Catholic university that was founded in 1887, giving us about 135 years of educational experience, which is quite a lot. It was founded as St. Procopius College by Benedictine monks of the St. Procopius Abbey on the west side of Chicago. It stayed there for a while and then got moved to Lisle. So the university has retained a close relationship with the Benedictine order, and that bears the name of Saint Benedict, known as the father of Western monasticism. So it's kind of interesting. And I would say while the university has that Catholic origin, we really do have quite a diverse student population on ground, on the campus here in Lisle and on our campus in Mesa, Arizona. So with that, would you have anything to add about that, Dr. Radson, about the student population?
Yeah, I would, thank you. And yes, I would just echo, and I've been in different types of universities, and what's interesting about being at Benedictine University is that we have this Benedictine heritage that gives us a focus on people, internal and external, where we are accepting to people of all faiths and all races and very as diverse as we can possibly try to be. And we're accepting as a community, but also we have a very fervent view that business is an entity that really helps the world and helps people really thrive in lives personally, professionally, and for the greater good.
Great, thank you for adding that. So talking a little bit about the program, our MBA has been around since 1976, so quite a while. It's always been a general management program. So when it started, obviously ground campus courses, and in time, just like many other universities, the curriculum and the program format has evolved. So the online modality was added in about 2007. So we've had that online MBA for quite a while now too. The MBA program, being around since 1976, has over 7,000 graduates and counting. So it's really a program that's been around for a while, online and on ground, and has a lot of experience in and of itself. So let's move on to the question of why pursue an MBA? And I'll let Dr. Radson answer that from here.
So the MBA is one of the foundational degrees in business. In fact, many business schools started by offering an MBA. It's the foundational degree of all business colleges, and been certainly around for many years. and continues to be very, very important. Obviously, if you look at the number of MBAs that are awarded every year, that number has just been increasing since the 70s and continues to be a very popular degree. And most students, since even the 70s, receive their MBA on what is normally viewed as a part-time basis. In other words, they work and they pursue their MBA while they're doing other professional activities. And it is a degree that the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that is in demand. It also shows the significant increase in salary that one gets when one pursues an MBA lifelong, because it's a credential that lives with you forever.
Absolutely. And I would add that I had read recently the average starting salary for MBA grads. This is class of 2020. This is a statistic from the National Association of Colleges and Employers, is about 20,000 more than those with an undergraduate business degree. And I read that from an article from Harvard Business Review. So, a solid source there. So aside from, larger paycheck, that's something everybody would like to see. There's also other things that someone can get from an MBA. So obviously new skill set, enhanced credibility, able to add that to your resume. And what I think many people are looking for is a larger professional network. So your ability to expand not only your educational instincts, but your horizon on who are your classmates, who are the people that you could be working with in the future. I would also add that it gains insight into other fields through that interaction. So, whether you want to stay where you're at and potentially advance or pivot into a new role or a new industry, it's learning from other people.
Yeah, and if I could comment on that. So I've been in higher education for 30 years, and the graduates that I have talked with that have earned an MBA, the common themes that I see, that I hear, is the fact that the MBA gave them a number of things that they couldn't have received anywhere else. And one is certainly a comprehensive view of business. And that's vitally important when you understand all the functional areas of business, because one can get sometimes their first job or their second job based on a narrow expertise skill set. But you get promoted and you moved up in the firm based on how you can understand and connect all the functional areas of business. And that's what the MBA allows you to do. It allows you to understand the functional areas, connect them together so that when you are in a firm or even starting your own company or building a company, you can understand how everything is connected to move it forward. And then the second thing that I hear very frequently is, as Jenny said, the connections, the people you learned. Who are your classmates? Who are you with? Because you'll be working on projects with them. You'll be working in areas of study with them. And the skill sets they bring is not only their academic background and where they're from, but the industry that they're in. So we pride ourselves on having MBA students from a wide variety of industries to help you learn not only through your faculty and through your classes, but also through your classmates and colleagues. And some of these will be your lifelong friends.
Absolutely. So with that, let's go to our next slide, which will be covering learning goals. So what is it that someone should be expected to learn upon the completion of this? Well, they should possess critical and creative thinking skills to solve problems, identify opportunities, and make reliable decisions in domestic and global environments, using the business concepts embodied in the disciplines in finance, accounting, management, operations, marketing, and economics, which are all courses that are in the program that we have. So let's check out curriculum.
And if I may stop there for a second and say, so when you look at these learning goals, they're learning goals that every MBA program should provide. But so what's a little bit of a distinction between our program and others? Well, one is our student-faculty interaction. We pride ourselves on not only these learning goals, but the way you learn and the way you have the ability to excel in these learning goals by having close faculty-student interaction. And our portfolio of faculty, a wide variety of academic experience, but more importantly, a wide variety of industry experience, very practical industry experience as well as solid scholarship and academic experience as well. And as Jenny will go through the next slides on the curriculum, I'll make a comment about some of our other degrees, which also makes this MBA degree excel relative to other programs.
Yeah, and we actually had a question that I think fits in really well here. If I don't come from a business background, could this program still be a good fit for me?
That's a marvelous question, because I remember I mentioned historically that MBA degrees were the foundation of many business schools, and they were started because individuals came in with an undergraduate degree that was not in business or even a technical related field, but they wanted to get into business, and that's how the MBA actually started. So the MBA was originally designed for individuals that had no business background or very little business background, but either were in business now or they knew they were going to get into business, and then they needed a really deep as well as broad understanding of business and all the functional areas: accounting, finance, marketing, operations, marketing, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And so that's how, so yes, this MBA degree is designed to take people at whatever skill set and experience they have and move them forward.
Great, thank you for answering that. So as we take a look at the curriculum here, you can see that our program is broken into 4 foundation courses and 10 core courses. And I would just back up a moment to echo what Dr. Radson said when, you don't have to have a bachelor's of business to apply for this program or be admitted to this program. You do need a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited university. However, you don't have to have prereqs done. The foundation courses actually kind of set you up to be your internal prereqs in a way, so that you're prepared to take those 10 core courses later. So of the first 4 we have what's called BALT 5101, Analytical Tools for Management Decisions. So this is like a business statistics class, very vital. Econ 5101 is economics. You've got a management class called Organizational Behavior. So you're not only touching on the aspects of finance and accounting, but there is a very human element to the degree in itself. So org behavior is important. And then also Intro to Financial Accounting. So those are the first 4 foundation. And then we have the 10 core. So there's accounting, econ, finance, a marketing class, and the rest are management, because management is a large portion of the degree. And what I'll talk about in a little bit is the fact that the foundation courses are actually waivable. So if you do have a Bachelor of Business Administration or a business degree, or you've somehow taken those classes in some capacity prior to starting this program, what we do is we would take a look at that and see if they could be waived. But I'll follow up on that in a minute. Dr. Radson, would you like to comment on the curriculum a bit?
Sure, I'd be very happy to. So I'll mention a few things. One, the foundation, well, 3 things: the foundation, the core, and then its relationships to some of our other degrees, which actually help to accent the core. So the foundational courses, if you would have absolutely no experience in statistics, economics, org behavior, or finance, then those courses, or I'm sorry, accounting, then those courses would be taken. That's where, if you have actually no business experience, we bring you up to the level that you can then begin to move into the core courses. But if you have if you've taken some courses, say in statistics before, taken some courses in economics, management, accounting, you may have an extensive background in there. You could get waived from all 4 of those courses, or you could get waived from a few of those courses, depending on, again, your academic experience. Now you go to the core courses, which everybody takes. Everybody takes those 10 courses. And you can see where the degree becomes real, in a sense, where you're learning the functional areas of business, accounting, economics, finance, and marketing. But in those areas, for example, our marketing course is focused quite a bit on digital marketing. And it's, in other words, these courses are not just the basic accounting, economics, finance, and marketing courses. They're courses to meet the functional needs of business today. And then when we get into organizational behavior, and we get into human resource management, and we get into international business topics, which you get in the management area, as well as strategy, then they become very relevant till today. So they there are courses, again, by the faculty who have the experience to understand what is happening in business today. The other thing that we have in the core is a required course in project management. And if you talk to business leaders today, one skill that's incredibly important is project management, because project management is related to change, how you move new projects along, how you move new change and new entities along. It could be new products, could be new endeavors within the company. So again, these courses are designed to have you learn what is relevant today and to be used in your workplace today. Now, the other thing I want to say is we have two other master's degrees. We have a master's degree, not only MBA, we offer a master's degree in management and organizational behavior and a master's degree in business analytics. Now, that is relevant because the expertise we have in those areas make the expertise that we provide in the MBA even better. We are very strong in the management and organizational behavior. We even offer a doctoral program in that area. So the knowledge we have there that comes into the MBA is significant and significantly greater and better than what you see in many programs. Also with the Masters in Business Analytics, everybody knows that analytics is important. Big data, it's all out there. That's why digital marketing and social media marketing is so important, because it just encapsulates so much data. Now, this is not a degree in analytics, but the expertise that comes in through the faculty that teach in the analytics program makes this MBA very relevant. And then the last part I want to say is we are Benedictine University. So we are grounded in ethical behavior, and we have a course in leadership and ethics, so that it's not only what you're leading, but it's how you're leading and how you're progressing forward. And so that encapsulates everything in our MBA degree to make you a well-rounded, technically based, solid person, but also a management and morally sounded, grounded person, so you can lead beneficially for your firm.
Yes, thank you for offering that information, because I think that's true. I do think we are grounded in ethics, which is very important, especially nowadays. So moving on to the next slide, this shows you the optional concentrations. And as you'd mentioned the previous degrees, the thing that I like is that you're able to choose a concentration if you want. You don't have to, but simply by completing the degree itself, if you take a look at the curriculum planner, which is going to be sent to everyone when I send the recording of this video, and some people might have it already, simply by taking the degree, you're completing, for all of these, I believe, except change management, at least 1 to 2 of the courses that are required to obtain the concentration. And so circling back to mentioning the other degrees, the business analytics and the management and organizational behavior offer this option as well. So you have 3 separate business degree programs at the master's level that all give a student the option to take these courses. So that way, you're taking courses in different areas. So, might be taking a course that relates more to the management degree entirely. So it gives students the option to try different things. So let's talk a little bit briefly about how each of these concentrations work. So if we start with change management, there are 3 courses, so it's 9 credit hours. These are courses that would be taken in addition to the core courses of the main part of the degree. Change management is the only one where you would need to take all 3 courses. So this concentration discusses things like organization development, organizational change, touches on interventions that assist with change, including how to monitor a successful organizational change process, employee participation, and ethical issues. It also touches on consulting skills and application of building teams. So, if you're someone in HR, this might be of interest to you. And again, entirely optional, but it's nice to have that. In terms of the digital marketing, by completing the MBA degree, you've completed one of the 3 required courses for this. So this concentration explores things like consumer behavior, market research, pricing, distribution, along with discussions on the impact of big data as it relates to things like brand management. It also focuses on SEO certifications, how to use Google AdWords and pay-per-click automation and advertising on social channels. So in the time that we're living in now, you might not be in a marketing role entirely at your position, but this might be something that's of interest to you to add to your resume. Did you have anything to add, Dr. Edson, about either of those concentrations before I moved on to the next?
Certainly. So I'll go from bottom to top, the digital marketing. So as Jenny said, the digital marketing, you take that concentration and then you are eligible then to sit for some certifications, such as Google certifications. And one of our faculty members is certainly an expert in there. And we could get you in contact with him to learn more about the precise certifications that one could attain after taking the digital marketing concentration. The change management concentration, who is not experiencing change? Even before COVID, change was a common word. Now it seems with COVID and after COVID, change is going to be the operative word. It's going to be with us all the time. And to learn how to manage and plan for change management is not only was important before COVID, it's incredibly important now during and after COVID.
Absolutely. So the next concentration you have an option to take would be project management. And this is one that I hear a lot of interest in when people inquire about the program. And simply by taking the degree, you've completed one of the 3 courses required for that. So that would cover things like how to initiate, plan, execute, control, and close projects within a budget and on a schedule, including project life cycles, responsibility matrices, as well as planning control methods. These are things called like PERT, CPM, Gantt charts. If you are of interest in this area, you've heard of those things before. It also covers managing project costs, schedule, and financial plans. So topics included within this concentration are software application. They use MS Project to estimate, analyze, doing budgeting, resource allocation. And I believe the person who teaches this, who you could speak more on, Dr. Edson, Dr. Walters, I believe, is extensive in this field of project management. And while there are 4 courses that are on there, only 3 are required. The benefit that Dr. Walters has told me about taking that other course that's not required, it's called a PMP preparation course, is that it teaches the student the theoretical and application processes by allowing them to use that Microsoft project software. So if you wanted to expand on the instructor of that program at all.
Yeah, so with the project management concentration, as Jenny said, in the core, you've already taken the first project management course as well as another management course that's in this concentration. You take one more course beyond the base MBA and you have the project management certification. But most importantly, you are now eligible to sit for a project management certification by the Project Management Association. There are actually 2 certifications, and Dr. Walters can provide more detail on that if you're interested. 2 certifications in project management. One, you're eligible to attain after just taking the first course in that concentration, the first extra course beyond the core. And then if you move on and take the full concentration, combine that with project management experience in your company, then you're eligible to sit for the highest level certification in project management. Now, projects, again, could be a software implementation project, could be a redesign of the organizational structure of your company. A big project could be a small project. It could be a series of marketing events. It could be a series of sales events. Projects are all over the place. And that's why having someone who can plan and execute these projects and have the knowledge to do that is seen as an incredibly valuable person in that organization. And that's why they tend to move up to other levels of responsibility, because they've shown what they can do in tangibly leading significant and impactful projects.
So the next one would be, or the last optional concentration we have, kind of goes in the same field as change management, but this is called talent management. So this is related more so to the HR field, I think personally, than the change management concentration. So by completing the degree, you've already taken 2 of the 3 courses required. And this concentration covers the relationship of business and HR planning, recruiting, training, compensation, diversity and inclusion, along with legal issues that are discussed. It reviews paradigms of leadership in a global environment. And the business intelligence class is particularly interesting, I think, because it covers how data and information systems can be used to drive effective operations and improve decision making, which is something at the top level of what people are looking for in a manager. You want someone who can make responsible, sound decisions. So the focus just on that alone is very interesting to me. While we're on this topic, you might ask, if you're a prospective student, why would I get a concentration? What is the benefit of me putting in the extra hours, time, effort, money to do this? And so I'll let you answer that one, Dr. Edson.
Well, let's look at each of these. I mentioned some of the other ones before. Let's more comments on the talent management. All you have to do is read any popular press and look at the Great Resignation and the war for talent, or whatever phrase people want to use, because it is a significant problem that companies are facing right now. And you combine that with the fact that HR functions, recruiting, monitoring, everything with respect to personnel has become so highly big data driven, right? Resumes are scanned. You got artificial intelligence that looks at people's resumes. The talent management is much different today than it was years ago, but also much more critical today than it was years ago. So if one can tell their employer or tell a future employer that they have additional expertise beyond the MBA in a specific area that's of their interest and it's important to you, be it in change, be it understanding the way change management processes happen today, to understand the way marketing is moving today, how you can functionally move a project along, a big project that's very important to the company, or how you can actually help the company retain, attract, and manage its talent. These are all relevant topics for today that's going to put you above the others that you're competing with for that position. Or if you're starting your own firm or have responsibility for your own firm, handling change within your firm, how are you going to market, projects for expansion, how are you going to manage your own talent? These are things that you need today to be successful, to move your firm or your organization forward.
Absolutely. So let's move on to course waivers. Before I mentioned, when I showed the curriculum, we had those 4 foundation courses, and they are waivable. So waiving means you don't have to take another course in its place. You're not swapping anything out. You're just eliminating one of the 14 classes that are on the curriculum planner for the program. So you could waive all 4, or you could waive 1, 2, or 3. It's really dependent on the transcript. So what happens is when you apply to the program and you fill out your online application, turn in everything that's required, which I'll go over shortly, I'll take a look at your transcript. So when I look at your transcript, I'm looking for courses that relate to these classes on here. And usually credits typically have to be taken within the last 7 years or so. However, it's a case-by-case basis where, maybe your accounting class is from 10 years ago, but you're a professional accountant. All right, well, you're getting that waived. But I'd have to take a look at it and let you know. And the courses must receive a B or better to qualify. So anything below that would not be accepted. So if you were able to waive something, each class saves you 8 weeks in the program and $2,400 in tuition, which is always nice. There is also something called a 4+1 option. So that's what we call it for our current Benedictine business students here. So they're required to take all of those classes. So if they obtain a B or better, they're here for 4 years, and then that 1 extra year is completing the MBA because they'd only have 10 classes to take. And so by taking 2 classes per session, you'd be able to finish that degree within a year. And as it mentions, if you're a business student from another university and you waive all 4, then you would be eligible for that timeline as well. So let's talk a little bit about the next steps and the admission criteria. The applications are reviewed on a rolling basis. We have several sessions that begin throughout the year. We no longer require the GRE or the GMAT. It seems that nowadays a lot of people in admissions are using different approaches to evaluate candidates, not just based on test scores, because Not everyone is a great test taker. The circumstances that surround test taking are sometimes difficult. So what we look at is we'd like you to have a 3.0 GPA at a minimum. However, if it is lower, we will review your file. And then we'd also like you to have a goal statement. So tell us why you're looking to apply to the program. Usually, 2 pages of just an essay for us to look at, to know who you are. We also like 2 letters of recommendation, and we prefer them to be academic or professional, and a current resume. All of this is put onto our online application, which I'll have the link at the end of the presentation here. And then we also require your official transcripts. Now, those could be mailed to us or emailed usually. Most places are digital now. If you're thinking about the program and you're not sure, and before you commit to maybe requesting an official transcript, you could always email me, contact me, and send me your unofficial transcript. I could take a look at it and let you know what might potentially waive into the program. So that's what's needed there.
If I make a comment about the goal statement.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal statement is where the first stage, official stage, where you're going to see that we really care about you. Because that goal statement is important for us to learn who you are and to make sure that you're actually pursuing something that's going to achieve your goals. So you're applying for the MBA. What are your goals? We'll read that and say, yeah, the MBA could help you achieve those goals. We don't certainly want anybody to be in a program that's not going to help them achieve their goals. Or maybe we can then recommend from that goal statement one of the concentrations. Or we could recommend even a dual degree, get the MBA plus the MBA plus the Master's in Business Analytics, or maybe the other degree is the one that's more important for you. But this is where we want you to really tell us what's important to you so we can really begin to help you, because that's what Benedictine University and that's what the Goodwin College is really all about.
Absolutely. So here's a question. If I pursue the 4+1 program, do I have to take the MBA right after graduation? And the answer is no. Your credits, we have access to your transcript, so no need to request anything. That is if you're a Benedictine student. However, if you go somewhere else and you're looking, maybe you go to another university, maybe North Central or something, and then you come here for the MBA, like I said, I'll take a look at your resume. And if you have those 4 classes that could come in, you don't have to start right away. Like I said, there's usually that 7-year window in terms of those credits being valid here or elsewhere. All right, so let's talk about our international applicants. So same situation here. Applications are reviewed on a rolling basis, no GRE or GMAT required. Similar to domestic applicants, you need your goal statement, 2 letters of recommendation, academic or professional, a current resume. We also need those official transcripts sent to our admissions team. And if the language of instruction was not in English, we need to make sure that we have a course-by-course evaluation completed by a credential evaluation agency. So these would be places like WES, ECE, or Ed Perspectives. And what they do is when you send them your information, they send a digital file to us that shows us the evaluation of the classes you've taken, which is great because it also lets us know and make sure that you're not overlooked in potentially waiving foundation classes. So that evaluation is very important for several reasons, not only to confirm the credentials of the university you went to that wasn't in the US, but also to make sure that we're seeing all the possible potential credit as well. Also, if your country of origin does not have English as one of its main languages, or if the language of instruction was not in English, we do require the results of a TOEFL or IELTS exam. And I would say if you are an international applicant, you can complete the program online. And if you have questions about the coming to campus, please let me know, send me an email, and we can discuss that together as well. So when we're coming to talking about financing, at the graduate level, there are different types of financial aid, and it's a little bit different than undergrad. So in undergrad, you might have the option to have grants. That's not at the graduate level. However, what we do have are our own scholarships and discounts that we offer from the university, and also students who are eligible have the option to apply for graduate student loans, like a Graduate Plus loan. In terms of the discounts we have employee discounts. So if you work at the university, there's a discount. If you are an alumni, we offer a discount. There's also discounts for active and retired military, people who work for a government or nonprofit. And then we're looking into the options for the graduate assistantships and any merit scholarships. So those are all things to consider when thinking about the financing of your education. So the total cost of our program here, it's $800 a credit hour. So it's about $2,400 per class. So in its entirety, if you had to take all 14 classes, you're looking at about $33,600. And if you've done your research and looked around, you would know that it's a pretty comparable price point for a professional MBA program. So, so that is where that is. And when you apply, what we would do is send you the information regarding how to apply for those scholarships and discounts. So let's talk a little bit about becoming an Eagle. That's our mascot, Ernie the Eagle. So when you get started, let's say you apply to the program, you get admitted, I would work with you on the beginning end. So I do the advising to get you started, to show you, answer all the questions you have, make sure that you're sent to the right departments, that you're squared away. And then you're assigned a student success advisor. So circling back a little bit to the current modality, so everybody understands where we're at. Courses here go for 8 weeks at a time, and we have 6 different sessions where you could start as a student a year, which we could discuss if someone's interested in applying. So traditional start would be in August. So currently 8 weeks at a time, all of the courses as they stand right now are online, and we use an online system called Desire to Learn, or D2L. So once you're admitted to the program, your access to that comes basically a day or two before courses start. So everything is done through that online portal. We are looking into the option and starting come fall to offer what's called high flex courses. So Dr. Radson, could you offer a little bit of insight into how the high flex courses would work once they get going? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, I know. Sorry, absolutely. So yeah, so we are transitioning from the era of post-COVID, as we're still in COVID, and we're looking forward to post-COVID time. So that's why we're moving. We had to move everything online because of COVID, and now we're transitioning to move beyond that. So in the fall, and we're going to begin to start some courses that are flexible or synchronously online, or in other words, that you could meet at a certain time. You'll be meeting at a certain time with the faculty member. Sometimes it's actually in a class. Sometimes it's actually just on a synchronous time on Zoom. And you have the ability then to actually interact with the students in real time. And we're transitioning to that from a purely asynchronous format, which is COVID, and then to a area where you can have more real-time interaction with your faculty and students, because that is vitally important. We want our degree to be relevant, but effective, but also accessible. And part of being relevant is having a lot of communicative interaction with your colleagues and your faculty members, but also accessible that you can do it. So the flexibility that we'll be meeting online, but also have the ability to meet people in real time online. And we'll be transitioning more of that as we get out of the COVID time.
Absolutely. And I would just note that the program itself, we have a diverse body of current students. So we have students who came in fresh from undergrad. We have, seasoned people who've been working for a decade or two. So having that, expansive student body is not only important, but in terms of how they're able to take class, that's important as well. So a lot of students find that the online modality is easier for them, having the option to be somewhere or not be somewhere. And then there might be others who apply in the future here who'd prefer to come in and sit on campus and come to Lisle. It's really up to them. So when we're able to offer that, you have all the resources of the buildings here, whether you're online or ground. You can come to the library. You can go to the academic support center. And circling back to the student success advisor, you can schedule an appointment with, her name is Acela Woods, to go over how, what courses am I taking next session? We have a 2-year schedule, which is fantastic because students who register are able to plot out, okay, if I start in August, these are the courses offered. I'd like to take 1 this session, maybe 2 this session. You can plot out how that's going to go for you. It gives you a lot of control. And if you're unsure, you could always ask myself or Acela, because that's the support you would get whether you're online or ground. We also have, like we've talked about before, the importance of an alumni network, alumni events. So that link right there is something that you'd want to bookmark, especially once you're admitted, to see what's being offered. What's the next thing our alumni are doing. One thing we just had was lecture series, which is something where our master's degree, MBA, MLB, our PhD alumni, they get to come in and they get to have an immersive experience by listening to in this case, an organization development expert in the field, give their 2 cents about what's going on in the world post-COVID. We had it in the auditorium, we had it on Zoom. So that's just one example of something that alumni might be invited to.
If I make a comment about that, so if you think about what Jenny's saying and think about it a little globally, getting a master's degree, a graduate degree, is much different than getting an undergraduate degree by the breadth and diversity of people that you're going to see. Because when you take an undergraduate degree, people are typically more around the same age and the same experience level. When you're in an MBA class or a graduate course, you have people from a wider variety of industries that you've probably ever seen, a wider array of age and experience. And because we're just the microcosm of the world. And also a variety of people who want to be in person, a variety of people who would rather not be in person. We're just reflect society, or reflect a very much more diverse aspect of society than what you saw at the undergraduate level, which is one of the reasons why people really like typically their master's degree program much more than they did their undergraduate program, because they learn a lot more beyond the classroom and it reflects more of the current reality in terms of what they're seeing relative to when they were an undergraduate.
Right. And so now I'd mentioned earlier that we would have the director of the Office of Career and Personal Development on the call, and we do. So hopefully we could have Matthew Johnson talk to us just briefly about what his office offers for graduate students.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, my name is Matthew Johnson. I am the Director of Career and Personal Development. And so I kind of just wanted to talk about our general services and what we can do for you, but specifically how it may pertain to getting you prepared and ready for grad school. So anything and everything you can think of career related, we do. Whether that's getting your resume reviewed, cover letter reviewed, maybe you have an interview coming up that you need to practice for, or feel like you maybe want to work on some of those harder questions. We can run through a mock interview with you. We can help you search for internships, help you search for jobs. We put on a number of different career fairs and career events, bringing employers on campus or virtually via Zoom to be able to kind of talk about what they do, who they are, and how they are recruiting for students, like you or potentially like you. And so as it pertains specifically to grad school, I saw on the list of criteria, you may need your resume reviewed, right? How do we tailor your resume to specifically fit the program that you're applying for, as well as discuss your career goals and how we may be able to tie that into your goal statement. Additionally, things that you may want to put on your resume are relevant experience. And so taking a look at what you've done, seeing how we can tailor it to fit the program, as well as maybe taking a look at some opportunities. Like I mentioned, internships, there's job shadowing you could do. You can conduct an informational interview with someone in the field, asking them questions around what they currently do, how they got to where they are, kind of what their steps were. And that's all things you can speak to on a resume, in your goal statement or in your personal statement. And additionally, we have wraparound services. So outside, once you complete your degree here at Benedictine University, you have access to our services as an alumni. And so we really do try to reach you as a student or prospective student at every single point in the student life cycle, as well as be there for you at your time post Benedictine. So yeah, anything you could think of career related, we're here for. And as it specifically pertains to your graduate application, resume, discussing your goals, as well as maybe potentially talking about some networking options or routes you can take in order to maybe find some of those letters of recommendation that you may need.
Great, thank you. And the other question I had, I guess on my end was, When we have, because oftentimes we send out to our current students these great emails that show what employers are going to be on campus, when they're going to be there. Are our graduate students able to be a part of that?
Absolutely. Yes, we do. We do include graduate students into that,
Awesome.
into that group of students. So yes, 100% grad students are more than welcome to attend any and all events that we have.
Great. Thanks so much for your time.
Of course.
So we've covered quite a few things today. So let's get to the portion where we let you ask questions if you're interested. Right. So here's a question. What are you looking for in terms of professional experiences and applicants? Well, as I mentioned before, we have a diverse student body. So we could have, people who are fresh out of undergrad who don't really have any work experience, and they're still looking to obtain more information about, going to a graduate program. They would be potentially admitted to the program, assuming they meet all the other standards. In terms of professional experience and other applicants, I mean, anything you list on your resume, we're looking at you as a candidate through that whole lens. So there's really no minimum amount that you have to meet in terms of being able to be an admitted student in this program. Wide variety of backgrounds and experiences is more, all the better.
If I may answer that too, and sometimes there's a number of people that I've met through the years that really sell their experience short. They say, well, I've, like the infamous, well, I've only worked at McDonald's, just that classic kind of job that really doesn't seem to mean much. But really, that's not necessarily the case. Even if you are working at McDonald's, you saw supply chain issues, you saw operations issues, you may have seen issues with hiring people, letting people go, talent management, because you observed it. If you're in a position, you probably observed a lot, and you think that, so think about the experience you had. And because the reason why you're pursuing an MBA is based on that experience you had, you want to know more, you want to move forward. It's something in the past lit something in you, and that's based on the observations and the experiences you've had. And that's really what we want to see and we want to hear.
Right. Here's another great question. What time are classes offered during the day? Do students typically work full-time or part-time when pursuing the program? So as it stands right now, if you were in any of the master's programs, they typically meet at nighttime. So we're talking 6 or 6:30 till about 9 o'clock if they do meet. If an instructor chooses to have his or her online students meet, I think that time might be a little more flexible dependent on the instructor. And let's branch that even further into, Dr. Radson had mentioned some of the classes are starting to be synchronous, trying to meet online at a specific time. Other courses are always asynchronous, but the one thing they all have in common that I'd like to just remind everyone of is instructor accessibility in terms of office hours. So Dr. Radson, could you talk about, I guess, the requirements of instructors to hold these office hours, or how that's been going in our online environment?
Yeah. So just to cap off what Jenny says before I get into office hours. Yeah, when our classes do meet in person, it's at a synchronous time, and they're not asynchronously online. They will meet either Monday through Thursday in the evening, or sometimes on Saturday. In other words, we understand that we are dealing with a population of working professionals, and faculty are required to hold what is called office hours. And office hours are times when they meet with students one-on-one and or in a small group session with faculty. And very often faculty use Microsoft Bookings to actually schedule appointments with students. And so again, our faculty, they're professionals. They know you're a professional, you're a busy person. Having specific times when a faculty member is available, or a specific time when you can schedule a private appointment with a faculty through bookings is certainly what we strive for, because we want our faculty to have a close relationship with you, and you have a close relationship with the faculty. And that's one of the things that we've seen in this COVID era, is that students do want to meet faculty on a real time, not real time being on Zoom like we are now, but they still want to talk to a person as close as they can get to. May not be in person, but it's on Zoom. And that's what our faculty stride, because our faculty want to get to know the students, and you want to get to know your faculty as well.
Right. So in trying to tie that in tandem with the overarching idea of support. So, when I look at applicants of who's coming into the MBA program right now, like I mentioned, some people are fresh out of college. You're all about knowing that APA format and using D2L maybe more easily than those who have not. So what are the things that we offer for those who are trying to transition from working full-time, continuing to work full-time back to school life when they haven't been in for a while? So I pose that question to you, but I'll answer it first myself. As I mentioned, the support of the Student Success Advisor is really important just in handling the administrative side of scheduling. That's also what I'm here for as a backup as well, is to answer any administrative things, direct you to the right departments. In terms of support as a student in the classroom, I know that there's a lot of troubleshooting that's offered for people who need assistance. We have a IT help desk there for those types of issues. As I'd also mentioned, you're welcome to come on campus and try to, see what we have here to offer in terms of support. So with the Career Center offering tutoring, I believe there's often writing workshops to help people hone better skills at writing, because that can be a hard part. Those are the things that come to mind for me. On the instructor end, would you have anything to add about that?
Sure, and I'll also mention another issue, and that is, and I'll get back to the instructor, but before I forget, the fact that we know you're busy. We know you want to plan your career ahead. We know you want to plan how long it's going to take you to get this degree, or how fast or how slow you want to do it. And in that regard, we have set up this program. We have a 2-year rotational schedule of courses. So you can plan your schedule out 2 years in advance in terms of what courses you want to take, in terms of how fast you want to go, how slow you want to go. So that gives you the ability to plan, but also the ability to plan for how fast, how slow. And that's really important because we know you're busy. And some semesters, you may be busier than others with your job, and you could take more courses or less courses, but you'll know what's available. But our faculty, again, our experienced faculty, they've taught with working professionals for years. They know that you have obligations, but they also know you want to learn. And so they know how to balance the many demands that a student has. And they also know that maybe have not been in school for a while, and maybe there's a transitional time. This is all to have an experience. That's why having an experienced faculty, and a faculty that not only teach in this master's program, but other master's programs, give them the ability to understand where you are, where you're coming from, so that you can be successful.
So here's an interesting question that I could answer a little bit about. Can you share some specific projects or research that faculty and students are working on? So I can tell you from my end, on the admissions side, I do the admissions counseling for not only the master's business programs, but also the PhD program. And that's one area where you have several people at different times working on different things. And the faculty in that program, there's 3 full-time faculty, are still contributing to the field and working on different things. So recently, our PhD faculty wrote a book on the military being the largest development organization out there. It's a very thick chapter book that they wrote with one of their alumni students, and they continue to be on that subject, publish in the organization development journals about various topics all the time. Perhaps you know of anything going on the business side.
Sure. I'll mention let's go from the student point of view first. So if you have a research project or something that you're working on and that interests you as pure research or something related to your company, you may be able to accomplish that in 2 ways. One, many of our courses are project-based. And so required projects or required reports are required in the course. Your company firm, your company problem that you're dealing with could be brought right into the classroom. But also each discipline, accounting, economics, finance, management, marketing, et cetera, we have an elective course that one could take, which is an independent study course. that one could take with a faculty, a supervised research project with a faculty member. We've had a few of those in finance. We've had a few of those in the management area because they're actually working on specific areas within their company. That's student-related projects. Faculty, yes, we have a lot of management faculty that are doing projects, as you heard from Jenny. We have our economics faculty member, believe it or not, is an expert in gambling behavior and does research and publishes research on how people make choices on gambling. We're actually interviewing for a new finance faculty member position, and next week we're going to hear 2 research presentations on very different aspects of finance and investing. So our faculty are very much involved in research. In the aspect of digital marketing, our digital marketing person is actually interested in the introduction of AI, artificial intelligence, into marketing and working with individuals on that aspect of research as well. So again, very contemporary topics that help businesses succeed today.
Great. That's very exciting to hear. It's always nice to hear that they're staying in the know and contributing to the field as they go. So let's wrap this up. We appreciate you being with us this entire time. We've been on almost the whole hour, which is great. So stay in contact. Again,
I see one more question. Do you have time for one more question?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, okay. Okay, this is a good one. So can you expand on employee discounts? What would that look like and requirements? So as if you work for Benedictine, usually there's something called employee remission. So you'd have to reach out to HR to make sure you get the specific details on what your discount would entail. And then once you do that, I believe student accounts is notified about how that would work depending on what portion of tuition remission you'd be eligible for. But yeah, HR would be the first step on that. In terms of any other scholarships or discounts, everything, so each student who applies is given the form to show you what the options are. And then you have to turn in, not evidence, but showing your credentials, verifying that you qualify for the scholarship. So for instance, if you are an alumni, we know that through looking at your file. But if you work for a nonprofit or your former military, we just ask for some documentation to corroborate that. And then everything is sent to student accounts to apply those discounts. So they could be anywhere from 5 to 10%. It's all indicated on the sheet. All right. So if we don't have any other questions, I was going to go back and say, stay in contact. If you scan the QR code, it takes you to our graduate events page. It shows you things that are coming up, all the other info sessions we have. So as Dr. Radson mentioned, you know, if you've checked this out, if you're considering MBA, but you're also considering business analytics or management and org behavior, you can scan that and sign up for a session. There's one tomorrow for business analytics, and then there's one on Thursday for the MOB program. Alternately, if you know someone or maybe your interest has changed, we also have quite a few other ones lined up with my colleague. Her name is Caroline Pluto, and she's doing more of the science-oriented programs. So scan that and check it out. It also allows you, once you're on the web page, to schedule a time to speak with me or my colleague, schedule a campus tour, and then just check out other events that will be coming on the horizon. And again, my name's Jenny Jeske. So if there's no further questions, just want to say thanks for attending. Thank you, Dean Radson, for being here, and thank you to Matthew for being here as well.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll stop recording now. Thank you.